Okay, this Grimy Goons Warrior deck, it's probably one of my more experimental decks. The goal of this deck is to be like Control Warrior, control the board, draw some cards, try to get exactly Doppelgangster to be the only card to get buffed in the hand, or Grommash Hellscream. Actually, now that I look at it, the Grommash Hellscream getting buffed in this deck isn't that useful, because they'll usually be at full health. I'm going to make a quick cut to the deck of Grommash Hellscream. I really want exactly Doppelgangster, and this is kind of my experience with the other decks. The opponent's probably going to be at like near full health with this deck until I get a really big Doppelgangster out on the board, and then hopefully they have no answer. So I can't have the buffs landing on Grommash Hellscream. Yeah, let me run one copy of Revenge. Originally I didn't have Revenge in this deck because there were enough minions that I was like, decks with minions shouldn't run Revenge, but that's probably better. Okay, so there you have it. The deck is trying to get a big Doppelgangster and then play it, and it has two chances. The tough part about this deck is that I have to use my random buffs when I have exactly Doppelgangster in my hand. That's not that easy. We'll see how that goes. I think Don Honcho will be played to like almost always buff exactly Doppelgangster. So one of the Doppelgangsters will get Don Honcho, the other Doppelgangster will get a mix of Brass Knuckles and Grimy Gadgetzan. This is going to be a pretty interesting deck. It seems bad, but we're going to give it a shot.
I must protect the wild. Victory or death!
Given how much I love Doppelgangster though, I'm excited to play this deck. I'm actually not even sure if Hobart Grapplehammer fits in this deck, but with so much durability on weapons, that's possibly granting me plus 10? Maybe even more. I like how he fakes fixing your hand even when your hand has no weapons. So even though there are many minions in this deck, I reckon that I can get them out before the Doppelgangster has the threat of getting buffed. Like, sometimes it's impossible, since it's tough to get the Justicar True Heart out. But it should work out for the most part, I think. Getting the Brass Knuckles buffed up from a 2 attack to a 3 attack is really good too. And also it's my only active 2 drops, Grapple Hammer. Well, other than Fire War Axe. Fire War Axe is kind of a good active 2 drop. I think I should slam my guy, although he's gonna kill it, right? Yep. Shield block, shield slam. Good old, good old. Okay, Grimy Gadgeteer Doppelgangster. Against Druid, they don't have any way to deal mass AoE. The best they can do is Azure Drake. What the? The best they can do is Azure Drake into... Azure Drake into Swipe, usually. I think I'm just gonna play the Doppelgangster next turn. While I was watching Moana, by the way, during the weekend, a new Druid deck popularized, where they are actually doing the Aviana combo with Kun, and then Starfire is the finisher with the Malagos and the Faceless Manipulator. It's kinda awesome. Don't know how good that deck is yet, but seems pretty cool. Okay, that was a pretty good turn. Pretty good turn. It's still going. Gonna have to slam execute. Hopefully I draw the Fire War Axe or the Brass Knuckles. Brass Knuckles. Pow. I actually want to hit with the brass knuckles first, but then slam wouldn't draw a card, so I have to slam first. Oh, never lucky. Oh.
Mind if I roll need?
Revenge Execute seems okay here. And then play the Pawn Broker. Yep. And then face with the knuckles. Fling Doppelgangster. Arcanite, Borax. And actually, Ashbringer Borax. Pretty good. He plays the second one, I'll play Brawl. He might have a second one and choose to hold it back. Alright. He actually looks like he's the infinite Jade Idol type deck. I could Doppelgangster and then I can't do that. Hit it and then execute and then play Doppelgangster. Hopefully he has no answer. The idea of this deck is that there are a lot of decks out there which can't deal with the massive outpouring of like a lot of things at once. That's kind of the theory of Grim Patron back in the day as well. Okay, one managed to stick. Maybe I just smork him from here on out. Maybe it works out. I have to kill that in case he has a swipe. Or do I? There's two choices here. Face, Brand Doppelgangster, or kill this Brand Doppelgangster. If he has a swipe, I instantly lose. But if he had a swipe, wouldn't he have swiped twice? Alright, we're going all in. Even if he does have this swipe, I might just win by hitting him twice with the fireworks. Like, the theory is making him spend 4 mana on swipe might be important enough. Said he couldn't play many Jade Idols, perhaps. He can only play one now. Get in there, the Dawn. Alright, I got a 33% chance to win. I mean, 66% chance. Well, I have a higher than 60. Oh, I have a 75% chance to win. 80% chance to win? 80% chance to win. Do I want to increase my chance? Yeah, basically if I don't brawl this, I lose. So we're just going to toss that guy in there too. Alright. Well, this deck is probably not expected to finish out with like a face all-in rush a lot of the time, but worked out there since I was up against a deck that was going to win inevitably.
You asked for it. Happy Feast of Wintervale.
Happy Feast of Wintervale.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. Let the pain speak to me.
The dream is that somehow this gets to draw more than one card. The other dream is this actually gets to kill the mana worm. Wow, the dream is happening. Alright, so I've got the perfect buffs in my hand. Against Mage, all I have to do is get my doppelgangsters up to F5 so that they don't get flame struck. I was going to slam, but I can just punch with this. After drawing that. So that's pretty decent. Okay, one buff apiece. My goal is to play them when they're at 5 against a mage. Hopefully larger, but you only have so much time. I'm getting a lot of time though. Punching him in the face is tempting, but I can use the 2 damage pretty effectively.
Someday I'll be just like you.
And I'm pretty sure I can play whatever I draw if it's a minion. That secret is probably a Kabbalist Tome secret.
Let's make magic.
So the tough thing is, even if it's at 4, even with the Brand Bronzebeard, it's still no good. Kinda wanna slam to draw a card. Oh well. I actually want to play one Doppelgangster right now to force a Flame Strike. No, I don't really want to do that. Well, if I force the Flame Strike, then that means the other Doppelgangster gets in with a Brand Bronzebeard. Maybe I should have done that earlier. So if I spend 5 mana, that means I only have 3 mana to spend. It's tough. The last turn I probably should have played a Doppelgangster then. I just didn't want to get it Flamestruck, but I neglected to think that if I had gotten it Flamestruck, then I could play Brand, other Doppelgangster, and just win. If he had the second Flamestruck, then I'd just lose, but it's probably worth the risk. Maybe. But he does have, like, extra cards as well. Bran Hobart. I can use the theory that I'm not going to get that much. Like, if I get just any extra Doppelgangsters, I should win. I think this is okay.
Who knows what secrets will uncover? Prepare to make a chicken.
Could be Vaporize. One weapon. I actually think the Grimestreet Pawnbrokers are possibly not good in this deck. Or maybe I'm just unlucky. One of the two. Ugh.
Someday I'll be just like you.
I think I have to go for a Lucky Brawl here. I want to play a Pawnbroker first. I think so.
Go ahead, blow something.
Oh dear. It's possible that if I went turn 7 Doppelgangster into Brand turn 8 Doppelgangster, it would have been good enough. I actually think I should have done that. Still getting familiarized with the deck. Never drew a weapon after getting weapon buffed and having 2 weapons in my hand. 2 weapon buffers. Blah. I just figured since this is kind of like Control Warrior that I can just keep passing like Control Warrior does.
Your death. Always little time. Happy feast of Wintervale.
Even though the last game showed that I didn't have enough weapons and the pawnbrokers were dead, it's too early. Like, that could have been a fluke. I have to play the games to test out the deck to see whether or not it's a fluke or not. This is an example of where Grimy Gadgeteer should be played on 4 even though it's not guaranteed to buff Doppelgangster. Sometimes there's going to be some stray buffs. It's not that bad to buff Justicar, since buffs her up from 3 health to 5 health, which is much harder to remove. Chances of buffing Doppelgangster are pretty low here. That's arguably unlucky, or I have to see how often this happens.
Happy feast of Wintervale. Thanks.
He actually had the lightning bolt to remove that. That might mean the Grimy Gadgeteer sticks? That'd be pretty lucky. By sticks, I would mean he has to use some kind of other removal. Maybe not even Flame Tongue. Flame Tongue is his best answer. Oh, Jade Lightning, that's a good answer. Alright, so it's gonna look something like Justicar and the Grimy Gadgeteer. Hero Power, Shield Slam maybe. I'm feeling decent against this Jade Golem Shaman. He'll give me enough time to be able to pull this off, I think. I need to kill that. Brass Knuckles, does that allow me to kill it? Uh-oh. I can't kill, Brand Bronzebeard right now. Taunt Totem, too powerful for me. Oops, armored up in the wrong direction, that doesn't matter. At least he can't play the 6-drop. Also, I forgot Bran works with Jade Claws. Really rare for Bran to Battlecry weapon. I probably should put Bran in my Shaman deck. Oh, thank goodness he doesn't have a Summon a Jade Golem card. There's the Jade Chieftain. Wait, did he just play Healing Root? Man, that was a weird play. I guess he saw that I couldn't deal with it last turn and he's gonna try to make that happen again. Very optimistic of him. Appreciate his optimism. Let's play that card first. So the theory behind why the Grime Street Pawnbroker is good is because, the Grimy Gadgeteer is good, is because you run so few minions that you're gonna almost always hit the Doppelgangster. Unfortunately, I'm getting a lot of friendly fire here. It's still not a total disaster that they buffed the other cards though. It's still something. Even though it's not great.
Welcome to the Grand Tournament.
Oh my god. Against the Shaman though, If I just buff Doppelgangster with Don Hancho, should be good. Now the main problem is that the other Doppelgangster is the one that's gonna need to get chip buffed. Like in this deck, I think I need one of the Doppelgangsters to get chip buffed and then one to get Don Hancho buffed. However, against the Shaman, since they don't have any hard board clear, I think just buffing Doppelgangster will be good enough.
May your feet never prime.
Alright, get in there, the Don.
Hey, join the gods or meet my fist. Warriors, come out to play.
Alright, Brawl Doppelgangster. There's the dream.
We'll handle this. Smash!
If I get that out of the RNG, do I trust Don Hancho will win? I'm super winning, so I'm just gonna negate the best outcome for him. Yeah, got the other outcome. Oh well. Womp womp. Okay, so I managed to handle the first wave of Doppelgangsters. Also, I got unlucky with the Brawl. So, how big can the second Doppelgangster get?
Dogs are a girl's best friend.
I have Brass Knuckles left to buff. Is that it? That's it. So I have to buff this guy by 3 probably. But then he might have another elemental destruction. And therein lies the problem of the first Doppelgangster like not getting any of the buffs, because I need one of them to get the Don Hancho buff and then I need the other one to get most of the other buffs. I also need him to not run elemental destruction. At least I can get the other one with Bran, but if it goes against an elemental destruction, it doesn't really matter either way. Wow.
Go ahead, blow something.
I wonder if I should have saved that for the Brass Knuckles. I was also not playing the Axe for a while because I know that I have weapon buffing cards in my deck.
Rockets away!
Maybe I can fatigue him.
Feast of Wintervale. Happy feast of Wintervale.
So I take 5 in order to include this guy in the RNG. I think so. Also, I'll play this card. Do I take 5? Nah, I don't take 5. I do take 5. Yeah, alright. That's optimistic. But I'm not really under any serious pressure. Man.
Happy feast of Wintervale. Astonishing.
So the problem with the Bran Bronzebeard is that if I put out the Brass Knuckles, which is my only buff, I need it to hit Doppelgangster.
What to do?
The good news is at least this deck is surviving a while. Which is indeed the goal of the deck. I don't think I kill this since he has so few cards left in his deck. Hey, Revenge. It's only 1 a turn, because I'm gaining 4 a turn and losing 5 a turn. I actually don't have an answer to the big one. I think I let him draw the cards also. This is more likely for me to win with it. Uh-oh. Master of Evolution? I don't know. Brass Knuckles. Does he run 2 Elemental Destruction in that deck? He runs 2 Lava Shock. I would venture to guess he runs 2 Elemental Destruction. It's like the question, am I more likely to win with Fatigue or am I more likely to win with the other thing? It's tough. I think I had to get rid of the brand so that I was more guaranteed to use Doppelgangster. And I'll try to chip him down with the Knuckles and the Fiery War Axe. His hand, I'm gonna assume, is 2 Lightning Storms. And there's 1 Elemental Destruction there probably. So I don't really know how I'm going to win. I could do 15 damage to the Fire War Axe and then 9 damage to the Brass Knuckles. It's 24 damage. I think I hit that twice with the Brass Knuckles. Need to save something for... White Eyes. Storm Guardian. Oh dear God.
Well played. I choose death.
Okay, I think even though that's only 3 games, it's enough to see the serious weaknesses of this deck. It's an amusing idea and I actually thought it might work. Minions get in the way of other minions and it turns out that there are some decks out there which can deal with 3 big Doppelgangsters at a time. And if I wanted to like do 3 big Doppelgangsters, I should just in theory run the buff Paladin. I think it might be better to run this in a non-control core.